Let's take a moment to talk about what I call high-class black-on-black crime. Now, I know we're used to hearing about the false narrative driven by the media on black-on-black crime. They talk about the gang wars and what's going on in the hood or whatever. That's a discussion for another day. But high-class black-on-black crime is when people of a certain esteem, or people who've climbed up the corporate ladder kind of turn their nose down at other black folk, or they feel like they got to be leery of other black folk. For example, you have a black person, who's supervisor or manager in charge of hiring or something like that, and they're hesitant of hiring other black people. And whether they know it or not, they may have subconsciously taken on kind of some of the stigmas that white people hold against us, or you don't want to be known as that black manager who hires black people, when I'm sure nobody else thinks along those terms, or instead of, trying to push other black folks, so people of color in general that you see who have ambition, you kind of stifle their ambition. That's a crime. Or somebody makes something of themselves or whatever, and then they move out the hood because for whatever reason we aspire to do that, and then they see another black person there, and they may be more suspicious of that new black person than everybody else in the room. Now all of a sudden you got to keep eyes on them, as if they're going to make you look bad or something. That's high-class black-on-black crime. When, because we've reached a level of esteem, we turn our nose up at other folks who look like us. Sometimes it's people in your own family. They'll give you an excuse. That's why I don't go to family functions, because all of them ghetto. But these your people. And if you love them, since these your people, wouldn't you try to open up doors for them, try to get them on the path to reach the same success that you have, instead of knock them down or judge them or move away from them, leave them to their own destructive devices? I would think that if this is my family and I love them the way I say I do, I'm going to make sure everybody comes up. If I'm a manager at a job, and now, granted, that's not saying you should carry a cross on your back to make sure every black person you come across, you give them an opportunity. But if I see a person who looks like me, who's ambitious and striving to be the best that they can be, I'm probably more likely to take them under my wing and say, hey, young man or young lady, or even older man or older lady, here's how you get to where you're trying to go. And because I know the obstacles that's in front of you, I'm going to help you avoid those obstacles, hurdle over those obstacles. But instead, like, power can only be held by one person at a time. Well, as long as I got mine, they got to figure it out for themselves. Or I don't want to be too closely associated with this other black person, because I don't want the powers that be to think that we're trying to gang up on them. Or if they see us laughing and talking, they're going to think we goofing off or something, because that's all black people do. High-class black-on-black crime. It got to stop. Because there are plenty of capable people, plenty of talented people out there who probably could just use a leg up. And because they may come from a different background than most of their peers in the corporate sense, they're not given those opportunities because maybe their language is a little rougher. Maybe their mannerisms aren't as stiff, if you know what I'm saying. But if you're in a position to identify where they come from, to know exactly the obstacles that's been placed in front of them and the perceptions placed on them, then you must do what you can to help your people. Why wouldn't you? Same thing with nepotism. We don't want to pass things down to our kids because it seems improper. But that's how you build and keep wealth. Keep it in the family. But nah, a lot of people would rather just hoard it all for themselves and turn their nose up. High class black on black crime.